So this is my interview on Monday, 29th October 2017 with U Than Htay.
U Than Htay.
U Than Htay.
Yes,
Htay.
Htay. Because my friends, they pronounce it as Thai or something.
Yeah.
A-Y Thai.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's Htay.
Than Htay, yes.
So let's start at the beginning. When and where were you born?
I was born in the Irrawaddy Delta, at the town name in the colonial period it was called Yandoon, but now it is Nyangdon. Yandon. It's the English spelling, anglicized spelling, and the name is now Nyangdon.
So when were you born?
On the 10th November 1932.
1932. Okay. So that makes you 85. A couple of days.
My 85th birthday.
Right. So can you tell me what life was like in 1932 in the village where you were born?
Well, socially and economically, it's
Yeah.
much better than now. As a child, I remember that the first thing I noticed is the money value, monetary value. Huh? This is with little money, you can have many things, but not now. The inflation is not it is not rising at the normal rate. This much, maybe that is because our economy is in ruins.
So what did your parents do?
My father was a police officer, a sub-inspector of police, and my mother was just a dependent. And our schooling, as my father was a police officer, we had to go around many towns. So I've been to from Nyangdon, Ngu Bien, Sagai, Miao Mia, and then back to Rangoon. And when I matriculated, it's right in Rangoon.
Right. But let's go back to your childhood, because that's what
Yes.
I think.
Yes. My childhood.
You had many sisters and brothers, or?
I'm the eldest son. We have 5 brothers and 2 sisters.
And was that a normal-sized family then?
Yes, but it is a little bit big, I should say, because normal size would be with 2 parents, 3 or 4 children. That's our typical Burmese family size.
So what was school like at those times?
In those times, we have schooling. I have elementary schooling in the Mubin area and middle school in Syrian. Huh? This is the other side of a river in Syrian. Now we call it Tanlin, the town. And my high school schooling is in Rangoon.
Right. But back to when you were a child, are there any sort of memories that you have of what it was?
Yes. My good memory began when we were in the Sagaing. At that time, I was about 8 years old. And we have this Second World War. Then, because my father was the inspector of police then, and his superior officer was a British officer, an Englishman. And when one time he took me in this meeting with this district superintendent of police, GSP we called, and he has to address him not only sir but also Takin. Takin means you understand the master. So when we came back, I asked my father, why you have to address him Takin? Sir is enough for us, for senior and junior and superior and inferior people. Then my father explained to me, no, they are colonialists. They are our lords and masters. And I remember also when we went to cinema, some movie houses, we had to stand up when they sang this God Save the King or God Save the Queen. Huh? Then I realized we are the colonials. And then I don't like the colonial, the British. Not the people, but the people who are in our country, who acted especially like bureaucrats, British bureaucrats. So when the war came, and in the newspapers, I always read the German victories. The English, when they were defeated, I was happy. That's the way I have built up my patriotism, I think. And another thing is, Germans, they are very bright, although they may be quite sometimes very hard. That's why my Japanese spirit is started from that. And another thing is, from that time, I tried to learn English very good. Because I want to be on equal footing with masters, colonials. Huh? So I tried this English. At the same time, I don't like their colonialism, but I respect their manners and culture and English language. That's why I learned it. And during the colonial period, there are four strata society. In the socially, we have four strata. The British or the English, British, they are the first, and then came the Europeans. Then came this what we call Anglo-Burmans, Anglo-Indians, and Indians are third. We are the fifth, the Burmese, or our countrymen, ethnic groups. This is a social strata system. I came to learn when I'm of age. And in Rangoon, if you don't know this Indian Hindustani, you cannot get around. You cannot go to the shops and buy something.
You have to be able to speak Hindu.
Yes. No, not English.
Hindi.
You have to know Hindi. Not Hindi, Hindustani. This is a Hindustani is Hindi and Urdu mixed up. If you don't know that, you can't get around.
My goodness, that was back
that I knew.
in Sagaing or all over, you think?
Not in Sagaing, but in English. But in the Sagaing of the whole country, but these are the ranks.
Right.
Among even whites, the Britishers, the English, they are first, then came the European, and then these Anglos, and then the Indians, and then Burmese. So I feel very badly, strongly against it.
Right. And can you tell me a little bit about what was like living in Sagaing when the Japanese came?
And when the Japanese came, we came down to Rangoon. But in 1942, I think, the Japanese came there. And then I was 10 years old. Then my schooling was only up to second standard. Then, and I stayed in this British BBM, British Baptist Girls' School. So we have good grounding in English. And in 1942, we went in. We were refugees, war refugees, going to some small village in the Delta area. So our stay in Rangoon is very short while. But the Japanese, when the Japanese came, we were in the village.
In Sagaing?
Not in Sagaing, in Taijon, another village in Delta.
Oh, you went south
Yes,
already.
and from Daejeon we went to Pakogu because my father was a police officer. Still, he was also in the Japanese regime.
So the Japanese didn't imprison him, he actually worked for the Japanese?
No, they didn't harm him, and since he could speak English, and the Japanese, they used him as a police officer again. So we went to Pakogu and Myaomya and all this. And during that Japanese time, the Japanese are a bit rough, But they have the good thing is they love boys, but not the girls. The girls of age, they have to stay indoors. The Japanese are so wild. I think this is true for every soldiers, I think. And we didn't love Japanese, but we go around with them. We went around with them because they gave us some sweet meats and some money and all this. They loved boys. That is the thing I experienced. And in Bakogu, one instance, when we have two Japanese regiments, and in one, they always have about 3 o'clock in the evening. They have this exercise, what they call jujitsu or something like that, using with stakes, and they are trying to fight each other. At one instant, in one day, when they were practicing, all boys of about 10 or 13 ages, we went around, look at it. It is quite fascinating to watch them. And on that day, a Burman, about 5 feet, not so tall, and quite a strong man, he challenged a Japanese sergeant to fight with one of them. So the sergeant drew out one tall Japanese, about 6 feet, brown, dark skin, not fair skin. And then they have a circle made on the ground. And our Burman, she has a loincloth and all this thing up, and then they try to wrestle. We didn't see how our Burman took him and just smashed him to the ground. That Japanese couldn't stand up. So all the boys, about 20 of us, only about 10 or 13 or 12 years, we clapped our hands. That shows our patriotism has risen up. This is one instant. And another instant is in Nyamya. Nyamya, what they do is there is in the bazaar, in the marketplace, one girl of 14 years old, Nyama girl, this Burmese girl. The two Japanese soldiers, they tried to grab her. Then I saw this thing. When I saw this thing, I went to one of our sisters who are Asian youth. The Japanese organized this Asian youth, and I told this, look sister, the Japanese are grabbing our girl. Then she went to, we have in Nyamya at that time, the Burmese, also what we call BDA, Burma Defense Army. One company was there. So this officer came along, and with the Japanese, in a Japanese with the sword and all this, and he shouted from a distance of about my gate in Japanese. The Japanese just kept in attention, and then this our Burmese military officer started slapping them. The Japanese slapped not only this I've seen many times. Our people are got
Burma defense people.
Burma defense officer. He's an officer.
Slapped the Japanese.
Slapped the two Japanese.
And the Japanese.
No, they
did
didn't do nothing. They just stood at attention. So just then, about 50 people crowded this place and started clapping. That's the two instances I remember.
And the Japanese did not retaliate?
No, they didn't retaliate.
So relations were quite civil between the Japanese and the Burmese?
Only thing is that some Japanese, they are very rude and try to grab our girls. So the girls, they always stay indoors. They don't go out. This is my experience.
So you
And another thing is, during the Japanese time, 3 years, we couldn't have the schooling. We didn't attend. The schools are not properly open or all this.
So that must have been quite fun.
Yes, for us. We just spend our time and practicing this with the catapult tunnels. And the Japanese, when the resistance came after 27 March, I was in a small town, Chailat in the Delta, and they came. Then at that time they were losing the war, and they came, and they had no food, so we have to give them some rice. And then they told, not the adults, they told the children, the boys, at night try to stay in some other places, not around here where they are, because our resistance fighters will come and they'll have a fight.
Or maybe shoot them off.
For our safety.
Right. So this is 1942 or 1940?
No, it's 44.
44.
End of the 44, I think. When we have, in 45, right. 1945. But when these General Aung San and these people, they are starting to try to resist the Japanese.
And so after the war finished, you stayed at school down south?
Yes, after the war, we were in this Banyan or CM, that down from across the river. Then we have schooling, and in 1947, I think, we moved to Rangoon. And from then onward, my high school was in Rangoon.
And what did you do for housing and things like that at that time? Did you get provided housing?
Yes, because my father was still a police officer. They gave quarters and all this.
He's quite senior. He's an inspector, right?
Yes. In police force, Burma police force, we have IP, SIB, IP. So it's the second lowest.
Second highest.
Yes, second lowest. From the officer in the officer rank, you have SIB, that's sub-inspector of police, and then inspector. Then come all these higher posts.
Okay.
Below him, we have sergeants and corporals and all this.
Yeah, inspector is like officer rank.
Officer rank.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, did you think he enjoyed his career as a policeman? Or?
Oh yes. He's a straight police officer, and from him I learned, and I want to be a criminal fighter. You know, we have a CID. You know what CID?
Yeah.
And I would like to join CID when I graduate with a degree. So I took chemistry to join. But my father, when I graduated, my father said, "No, I must not join either military or police force." And during this, we call this AFEFL period, the politicians they are not educated. They dominate in everything. And as uneducated men go, they are so proud. And at one instant, I saw my father being reprimanded very strongly by this chairman of the local this AFEF party. He is not even a high school graduate. So it made me very strong impression on me. I don't want to deal with. I don't like politics at all. During my school, university years, I stayed there for honors. It took 5 years. And I stay quite clear of these politics. I don't like them.
And your father didn't either?
No. He said, if you don't join military, either army or police, I'll be glad. So I didn't. And when I joined university, my professor was so good. And this Professor Dr. Tala, and he's a British graduate. When he gave a talk, I liked geology. Only then I learned what geology is.
So did you start? You said you started doing chemistry at university.
Yes.
But was that a Bachelor of Science or what was
Bachelor of Science. My degree is in that BSc Honours. Bachelor of Science Honours, majoring in geology.
Okay.
So I became.
And why did you did science? You did chemistry because
in CID you need this subject to be a criminal investigator.
But at this time you didn't know your father didn't want you to be a policeman.
No. No, in Kogu, we have one friend, a friend of my father's, who was BSc graduate with chemistry. And what he said to me is, another thing is, he is very devoted. We have people who are looking for the philosopher's stones and all this alchemy. He is a major alchemist. He said, you try to learn a transformation of metals and take inorganic chemistry. His advice was like this. So I have some idea about that.
But
that's why I like chemistry.
There weren't very many geologists in the country at that time.
No, at that time, when I joined the university, there were only 16 of us who registered for geology.
16 in the country.
16 of us in the first year,
right.
Chemistry. Before us, there are only 4. Now only there are many geologists.
So this is at Rangoon University?
Rangoon was there. At that time, we have only 2. One at Rangoon and another at Mandalay.
Mandalay. Yes. And was it difficult to get into university?
No.
No?
We don't have... in our times, when we matriculated, they make 3 divisions. First division, second division, and third division. All can join the university. And you can take up whatever combination you like. Not like now.
And was it free?
Free, yes. Quite free. Quite democratic.
And your parents were in... your parents were not in Rangoon when you went to university?
My father was not in Rangoon. My mother was with us, staying in Rangoon.
What, taking care of all the children?
Yes, taking care of. We are 7 children, 2 girls and 5 boys. I'm eldest.
And what did all the others do? Did they go to university too, the boys?
4 of them are, including me, 4 of them are graduates. 2 of them are arts graduates. One is science. Two of us are science.
And the girls in that time did not go to
girls,
university?
They are arts graduates.
So all 7 children went to university?
All 7 children, yes. No, also, sorry. Only one of my youngest brother, he was the dropout, has been dropout.
That's quite... So for your parents' education was important?
Yes, my father was 10th standard graduate, high school graduate, not a university graduate.
And your mother?
My mother was... He's not 10th standard, he's 4th standard only.
Right. But they wanted you all to be educated?
Yes. My mother also was quite keen about education.
Was that unusual at that time for girls to go to university?
No. Many girls are in university when we were there.
Right.
More than about 1/3 of the students' intake was girls.
Probably not many in geology.
No. In geology at that time, when we joined it, there were only 2 girls.
Yeah.
And one changed to bio and became a doctor. Now working in Malaysia. It's an Indian girl. Only one girl, Burmese girl,
became a geologist.
Geologist.
So what year would you have gone to university? You were 18.
51.
1932. Yeah, 19.
I was then 19 years old.
Yeah, 19. Yes. And so it was 4 years and then my
5 years.
5 years with honours.
Yes, the ordinary degree is 4 years.
Yeah.
And honours have to stay 1 more year.
Why did you do honours?
Well, in my first year, I got a distinction in this geology. So my professor really wanted me to work in his faculty in the geology department. Because at that time, when we were in university, we had no Burmese geologists. Our instructors and lecturers were Indians, South Indians. with very bad accent, you know.
And so when you, but was it going to make better for your career to get an honours degree, or what was the? Was
True,
there,
yes. At that time, the government departments, they gave stipends, monthly stipends, and the usual stipends is 60 chats, and some 80. But in our case, my MRDC, this Middle Social Development Commission, gave honors 120 chats, and then this ordinary 80 chats.
so double.
Almost double.
Yeah.
And when we joined the office, this department or the corporation, they gave straight officer rank for the honors.
Wow, that's a big difference.
For ordinary, you have to stay 1 year. One year after that only you get gazetted rank, gazetted officer rank.
So it makes it, in fact, the extra year means like if you didn't get honours, within 1 year you become officer.
Yes.
You did an extra year at university.
Yes.
And you go in as an officer.
Officer, yes.
And what happened then? This is
1956.
1956.
Yes.
What was life like in Rangoon in 1956?
Socially much better, or economically much better.
Have you got memories of what life was like then?
Life was, we had very few people and no traffic jams, and ordinarily very quiet and peaceful. And you can get whatever you want with what you have. Your salary is quite all right with this.
You could live
And
well.
there is not much criminal cases.
Right. And was the custom that until you were married you stay at home?
Yes.
So would you give some money each month to your mother for...
Yes. I gave 300 chats. And when I got married, when I was not married, I gave all my salary, and my mother, I only kept about 100 chats with me for
You
my
gave all of it
facilities.
to your mother?
Yes, because we have a big family, and it's called big family. She has to struggle because only one man is earning, a bread earner.
Yeah, your father?
Yes.
Yeah. So all of... You were number 2, did you say?
Number one.
No,
First.
First. So that also helps support the other children.
Yes.
And was that... Did you see that as an obligation, or did you see...
No, this is our Burmese culture. When you were young, your parents will look after you. But when you are of age, when you could, not everybody is doing like that, but most of us. This is our teaching. In the Buddhist teaching, it is included. You have to look after your family or your parents when they are especially old, and when you have a job, and you have to support them. It is not a must, but our customs and tradition to do so.
So you felt no problem, Mum, here's my whole salary.
Yes.
Give it to her.
Another thing is, I love my mother most of all. It is true for all of us, I think. There is no woman better than your own mother. If she acts like a true mother.
Right. What's a true mother act
True
like?
mother means she will sacrifice her life for her children.
And does that mean that your dad was quite strict because he was a police
No,
officer?
my dad is quite liberal, but he is handsome. He was a handsome man, so he has many women. My mother has to forgive him just because of us.
Okay, so he had lots of girlfriends.
Oh yes, yes.
Like us, yeah.
Huh? No, this is really.
So your mother held the family together.
Yes,
Yeah.
she is very strict.
Right.
5 sons, she could control them quite a bit brutal, I should say. She would just crack her knuckles on her crown every time. She wasn't pleased.
That was I've never heard
Strict,
of that.
strict, yes.
With knuckles on the head.
Knuckle on the head. We have this, what you call, short, close crop
Yeah.
head. Eh?
Yeah.
And then she's a bony woman. And when she cracks, there are three small bumps on her. So we are quite scared of it. It's not so good, you know. But she kept the
But
voice.
you said you loved her greatly.
Because she sacrificed her life, and my father going around the town, and almost and we're down here, some of the girlfriends are all this.
And you all looked at this? You all saw it, all the children as you got older saw this?
Yes.
Right, right.
And my mother was lucky because I was the eldest, and our Burmese tradition is you have to respect elders.
Did you sounds like sometimes you had to stand up for your mother in front of your father.
No. There is no trouble like this. My father always gave way because he has committed something.
Right. He's done wrong.
Done wrong, yes, he's done wrong. So he doesn't argue with my wife, with my mother.
Okay, so your first job after you finish university?
As a geologist, the junior geologist.
At the ministry?
At the in the
private.
corporation, Mineral Exploration Corporation, under the Ministry of Mines, and it has been changed at least 7 times because the unstable and the ideas in mining not so good. So I have to, not my own, but the government changed the names and establishment every time. So I joined this Mineral Resources Development Corporation. I ended up with Department of Geology Survey and Mineral Exploration.
Yeah, DGSE.
DGSE, yes.
Yeah. So you joined that what year?
51.
And at that time, how was government run? Was it efficient, or how your memory of how the department operated?
For 3 years, when we have UNU at the hand, it was quite all right. After that, this military leaders and all this, we are not, I shouldn't say that, but it is the truth. It's not good at all.
But did that affect how the ministry operated? Did that make it any...
Yes, the ministry, we have the ministers who are not, I should say, who has no knowledge of scientific things, and also some mining, geology and things like that. So they didn't appreciate, and they didn't understand what our obligations, what our duties, what we should do, and all this. What they want is just results within short period.
So who was that? The minister was one of these people, but not surely.
One of the colonels or this
military
yes,
people at that
yes,
time too.
Yes.
So that
Since after 62, 1962, you know.
yeah, after 62 I know, but this is before 62 you're talking.
Before 62 is still nice.
Okay, so
Parliamentary.
your comments are about after 62.
After 62 years.
But when you joined, there was what, 4 or 5 years.
In 56, I joined.
Yeah, so 6 years with
Yes.
UNU.
Yes.
And those years, it was more professional.
Yes, more professional.
And did you stay in Rangoon, or were you posted outside?
Outside. My headquarters was in Rangoon, but I have to go out to the districts where we have our mineral deposits and all this.
Where did you spend long periods away?
Long
or?
period away in the southern sunsets. This Town G, Hopong, Kalor, and all these. There are some towns. The base is in those towns, but we have to go out.
And did you love your job then? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I love my job. This outdoor job, and you can have regional experience.
Right. But long periods away from Rangoon.
That's a bit hard on my wife, and also sometimes I feel a bit bad about it.
So you haven't mentioned about your wife. How did she come into the picture?
Oh, when I came back in 1961, my parents, and she is also my cousin sister.
You're nearly 30.
Yes, I'm 29 when I got married.
Yeah. So was it an arranged marriage or was it love marriage?
It's arranged marriage, as you say, because we know each other. Our father was the brother of my mother.
Wow, that's close. That's like a cousin.
Yes, actually, she is my second cousin.
And is that permitted under Buddhist?
Yes.
Right.
Even first cousins, they are. Only the sisters and brothers, they are forbidden.
Right.
Forbidden.
And would that have been common at that time? Very common?
Not so common. Not so common because our marriage system is sometimes, in those days, the marriage system is arranged, not love. Huh?
Not love.
So they lasted longer than love. With love, a few years they might separate.
Right.
Because it's an emotional thing. But arranged marriages, as far as I can see, it is based on something more solid.
Being what? Family relationships?
Yes, you see, in marriage, it is not only your side, but the other side you have to consider. And all these people, they have to be compatible. Then love means in a moment, decision. And then after that, finish.
But that doesn't continue to this day, does it?
No. Nowadays, it's a love. So you see a lot of divorces and
A lot of divorces. Okay. So you got married in
62.
62.
Yes.
62.
Yes.
And she was also from Rangoon.
She was
down
Rangoon
south?
born.
Rangoon born. Okay.
Oh, frankly speaking, I don't want to stay in Rangoon. I would like to stay in either Downview or Kalor. I was so fond of southern sunset climate and people and the environment.
Right.
I still like to stay in the Rangoon. In the months of March, April, and May, it's hell, too hot and all this.
You probably went away to work in those periods. Got out of town.
Yes. No, I had to stay. After my retirement, I had to stay here. That's what I do.
So, how much of the year would you be away from Rangoon?
I'll tell you, a month for 30 days, I was out 20 days. Only only 1/3 of a month I would be back in Rangoon.
Right.
Most of the time, I'm out there. Sometimes I remember in 1970, I think 69, 70, I have to stay in one mine 1 year and 3 months without returning back.
Never coming home.
Never coming home. My DG was a bit rough. I didn't get along with him. So he just to torture me, probably psychologically, he let me. This is like this. After 6 months or 4 months, you can come back. But in my case, he said, I was working with also Russian geologists. So he made me stay there with my other 4 geologists at that Mochi mine more than 1 year and 3 months. Then I tried to, out of spite, I tried to curse him. That man should met a very severe, very cruel death or something like that. And he died in that after 3 years in India.
Was he an Indian?
Yes, and he was kicked out from the service for his own follies and all this. And
that's cruel, though.
Then I felt repentant, for cursing him and all this.
You felt bad, or you felt?
I felt bad.
Ah, but that's very unfair to make you stay away from your home for.
Right. At that time, I was so mad, and I wanted to even kill him.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's a long while.
Yes, that's the longest. Sometimes I have to stay more than 3 months or something like that.
And did you have children?
I have 2 children, 2 boys. 2 boys, and the third one, I discussed with them. My wife was quite fed up with the 2 boys. They were so like monkeys, they were so playful. And she didn't want to have any more boys. So the first boy was with the cesarean cut.
Right.
So after three children, she should be sterilized and all this. And she said to me, "All right, can you can you tell me firmly that would be a girl? Because I want to have a girl. 2 boys I have got. That I cannot promise." So we didn't take to part one.
So you just stay with 2 children?
Yes.
Right.
2 boys. I stay with one the younger one. He stays with me.
Right.
He has one child, a girl.
And did any of them follow in your footsteps?
No, you know what? My wife is very funny. I brought some ore samples, mineral samples, very beautiful samples from Borden mine, and I put it in a case, and then my wife just threw it away. So my sons, when they join university, both of them are graduates. They would be interested in geology. She doesn't want that.
So that's why she threw it away. So
Yes, I was so angry with that. It's a beautiful sample. I've been so many mines, Borden, Mochi, all the biggest mines, and tens of the mines, all this.
and you were a division director at the end, is that what it's called? What was
My last post when I retired, it was Deputy Director General.
Deputy Director General?
Yes,
Of
the second man,
DGSE.
yes, second man in DGSE.
And was the Director General an army man?
Army man, yes, Colonel.
Yeah, so basically you were the top civilian.
Yes, top civilian.
Yeah. So it's, what do you, when you look at the mining industry now, what do you feel?
Yes, what shall I say? The reason is the mine ministers, they are not technicians and they don't understand and they don't appreciate what we are for and all this. And the thing is, you might have known, our country has no mineral policy.
I know.
The first thing we require, because I've been trained in Canada.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
for
you
my,
haven't talked about that.
yes, and what they should have is, we have a definite policy for mining, for mineral, and then they have no planning, good planning. And when I came back, when I returned from Canada, I put up a report, what we should do and all these things. These things are just shelved.
So you didn't tell me about Canada. What happened with Canada?
Canada, I went there in 1958, and after 2 years of service, my corporation selected me to go abroad for further studies. I have a first degree only, so secondary,
No, you had
secondary, yes, honors.
You already had honours.
So secondary, in those days, our government was a democratic government. So we have a lot of aids and agencies, Colombo plan,
Yes.
when I went there. So they found some universities and in the West, and the university, they put checks on they just screen our academic qualifications. And in the first place, I was selected by the McGill University. McGill University in those days was number
That's
6.
McGill?
McGill.
Yeah.
Number 6 in the whole North American continent, and the first top university in Canada. So I got in that for mining geology in McGill University.
You got a master's?
Master, yes. It's a special degree for industry alone. I have to take mining courses, metallurgy courses, and all this, and financial economics courses.
Did you enjoy your time there?
Yes.
McGill is in which city?
In Montreal,
Montreal.
French Canada,
Yeah.
Quebec.
So that was before you were married?
Before I got married.
Yeah.
It's quite a nice experience.
You're probably the first member of your family to go overseas.
Yes, it's true.
Did your mother mind you going?
No, they don't. even my father. When I'll tell you something, people sentiments. When I passed my matriculation class, I have the good marks, but not distinction in English. It's about 72, 75. When you get 75, then you get distinction. 72, so I was I think a lot of myself. So I thought, even my father might not know English better than me. No, it is wrong. He is a graduate of Cushing High School, which was the first next to our gun high school. And his English is far superior than me.
Really?
Oh, really? In those days, 10th standard are far better, much better than us in English, knowledge of English.
So Canada, were you going to tell me something about Canada?
In Canada, this in McGill, yes, in the first year, my course is normally 2 years course. This is a MSc Master in English. But my thesis professor, after asking me and all this, he said, "You are Colombo Blend student, so you could stay more than 2 years. Is that so?" So I said, "Yes, it's up to you." Then he telephoned my Colombo Blend supervisor. "Well, Mr. Htay, I would like to keep him 1 more year here." So he said, "All right." So I have to stay the first year. I have to take all these undergraduate courses in geology.
Again,
and only 2 graduate courses. And the next 2 years is the graduate courses. Many courses. So I know a bit more than others.
and did that make a difference to your career, having not only an honours degree but having a master's degree? Did that help your career?
Yes, because the education system is quite different. And in the West, as yours also, the system is the students get free time and also very liberal system, and he has a chance to develop his own intellect and sense of decision and also making ideas. Here, you might have the master or your lecturer or instructor is the master, and what he says goes. You have no chance to argue or present what you think, and your intelligence is somewhat pressed down. This is the difference. Cardinal difference is this.
Did you adapt to the system where you could argue?
Yes, because it is like this. You have to read a lot, and I try hard in my university, but it's nothing. There you have more load, and you have to do it yourself more. The instructors just show you some way, and you have every course has to. Every other week you have just seminar talk. You have to read assignment, and then you have to talk class. And your instructor, your lecturer or professor will sit at the corner.
Now, one thing I haven't asked you, which I know many, I'm quite surprised, are saying to Aluin, are you Burmese, or like it seems many Burmese actually have many mixtures of different.
Oh, I'll tell you, yes, no problem. I'm not the true or what you would call pure blood Burmese. My great grandmother from my maternal side was a Thai woman, and my mother's father was half caste Shan. So I look a bit like Chinese or something like that, not the true Burmese features. From my father's side, they are from upcountry. Both of our people are upcountry. They came down when the British they tried to develop the lower part of the country, which you have mentioned in your book. Yep. It's true. And then must have some Portuguese blood or something.
On your father's side?
Yes, because we have some hairs on and some of our sisters, one of my sisters, she looks to some Anglo-European.
How do you know that, though? How do you know?
Because my grandfather told me
okay.
from my father's side. our family tree anymore.
You said there are
Yes,
Portuguese.
we are from Shibu side. There are some Portuguese there. The Burmese, when they conquered the Syria, they took some Portuguese up there.
So, really, I mean, from what I've seen, there are very few pure Burman.
No, that's true. Pure Burmans, the pure Burmans, you can look at their eyes, at their complexions. They are not so dark, but what chocolate? Not chocolate. Their complexion is dark anyway, and eyes are like full eyes with folds and all this.
So,
Not like
is
this.
there I mean, you're very mixed. You've got
Yes.
lots. But was there any racism towards people? In
No,
your,
we don't have. We don't have racism. Or some of our friends, we don't have racism. But what we Burmans have some fear is the spread of Islam. And from history and also from our present time, some of the areas are now, we have lots of Muslim peoples. And this we don't like.
And do you think that was your feeling back in 1950 and now, or is this just increasing? This is feeling more now.
It is feeling more now because we see the spread. And if it is off the record, I'll tell you.
We'll nearly finish and then we'll turn it off.
Yes, please, some other.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what my feelings are about this present situation.
Now, not on the record.
Now,
On the record.
not on the record.
Okay, I've got to turn it off then. So let's just...
please ask any more questions which I would like to answer.
Okay.
But after that, I'll tell you.
Okay. No, I think we're is there anything, as you know, the purpose of this is for in 10, 15, 20 years' time, people to be able to listen to stories about what it was like in 1920, 30, so on.
I see.
That's my idea. It's not for people want to listen now, they can.
Yes.
But, when your generation is gone, there is no connection to people who were born before the Second World War, people during the Second World War. You've had the whole thread from colonial through democracy with so many things in the middle.
Yes.
And that's when your generation is gone, we are going to lose a very important connection with the past.
Yes.
That's my reason for doing
this. This is true. There is a gap in generation.
Yeah.
And the attitudes and values and moves, all they are changed now.
So do you see, you talked about you were anti-colonial, but you admired the
British customs.
The British customs.
Because on my return from Canada, I stopped for 5 days in London, a family with the English family, and I knew then that the lady of the house tried to explain to me this table manners and all these things, and they have the man was Cambridge town.
Wow.
Yes, and I'll tell you something about British also. And my mother-in-law to be was so, what shall I say, astute. And my intention was as a young man, when I get back to London, I would like to visit some hot spots. Those in London, you have Soho, and Japanese and all these. But she foreseeing all these things because she would like to have me as her son-in-law for her daughter's sake. She arranged in such a, you heard about MRE, the moral armament,
yes, I do.
to fight communism.
Yeah.
There's a big party in this country,
Yeah.
and they have a change. And she arranged, so one of the families are MRE member, and they came and to see us and took me to their families. This in Bagley Square, number 45.
Wow, very nice.
I don't remember now their names now. The man was Cambridge town, the woman was just Japan.
That's very exclusive area.
Very polite. and they had 2 children, one boy about 8 and one girl about 6. So that first evening, the lady tried to teach me how the British, all the knives, then these glasses and all this. It's quite complicated. And the man was not so interested. No, you can forget about it. No, but I like. And at the dinner, they served as a fruit, as a dessert, the bananas imported from Brazil. It's a long, big green one, or yellow one.
Yeah.
And we all finished, and all they finished, but the girl was waiting for me, I knew. She didn't eat her banana and waiting for me. So I knew that, and then when it came the time to eat banana, I just took it and just peel off the skin, and then eat it. So the little girl said, "Is that the way to eat banana?" Yes, it's the easiest food to eat like that. But the boy said, "No, that's the monkey's way of eating." So the father cuffed him on the head. And another thing is, on Saturday, I was in North America. We went out with open collar and all this, no ties.
Yeah.
Even if in the first year I used to, because I like to wear my tie and with that.
Special.
So there's not special knot. And if I wear a black suit and in the classes, my friends would say, "Hey Tan, look, whose funeral are you going?" So it's like this. But in England, very formal. You have to have a cravat or something like this. Your neck should be open like this.
Yeah.
So Saturday I went out and people are looking at me now. I went to that bookshop file. I wanted to buy some geology books. And when I tried to come back, I lost the way. So I approached one Bobby, a tall fella. Please show me the way. I stay at 45 Parkview Square. And that Bobby took me back to my house. So at dinner time, I told this to my host, this gentleman from Cambridge. Then what he did was, that night at about 8 o'clock, he took me in his car and we went to Soho and around it. And then he turned deliberately into one lane which was not supposed to enter. And the police came. Police came and approached. When he was near, I heard he saw, damn, he saw like this. Then he started questioning my host. Why was that? No, I'm sorry. It's my mistake. I won't repeat it again because I have a guest from Burma. And all right, I'll let you go this time. Next time you'll get it. And when we were out of his earshot, he started to tell me, look, our bobbies are not, they are human, he just said. The thing is, he wanted me not to put the policeman on the pedestal. So these are the British. And this man explained to me why British are so formal and aloof. When we are sitting together, then if there is no third person to introduce us, we will stay like this. Not like Canadians or Americans. Australians are also not like that.
Correct.
But why it is so, my friend told me, we were insular people and we don't want to disturb others' right, and we don't know what he has in his mind at the moment. If I intrude into his privacy, that would be quite rude. That's their idea. So I understand.
So, U Than Htay,
U Than Htay, yes.
U Than Htay, you thought that I'd have to ask you many questions. I've had to ask you virtually none. You talk, that's been fantastic.